back to the journey. I'm back with the Wenzels. So in elementary school, y'all talked about hard work being a focal point in y'all's household. How did that continue on in middle school?
I think it just, I don't know that I think it is what it's always been, like a baseline for us, you know what I mean? So I don't think it really picked up or anything like that. It just kind of stayed what it was. I think that answers kind of what you're looking at. But because we always go back to that for everything, even now. You know, it's always, did you go to the gym today? Did you eat your shots today? It's always a part of a daily conversation. And for them, sports is what it is right now, so that's the questions. Later on, it's, you know, business and life and things like that. You know, what did you do today? I don't think it ramped up or anything like that. It's just always been all we know.
Mm-hmm. I think it went from I think twice a week practices to now starting to make sure it's building those daily habits. And so maybe the frequency of an hour a day, like what can we do with this hour? Whether it's put a ladder down on the sidewalk, or dribble through cones on the sidewalk, or go to the park because dribble in the kitchen. Yeah, you've been there, done that. Yeah. And so if we weren't able to get into a gym, then that's what it was.
And how did y'all like middle school basketball?
Hated it.
Well,
I hated it for Carleigh.
It's different for both. I think for middle school, for Brennan, I think it was pretty awesome.
Yeah, it was good.
He had a really good coach. It was a really good group of kids. Carleigh had a really good group of kids. The coaching side of it wasn't so great, and it's not as
competitive on the girls' side.
You know what I mean? Like middle school basketball and transitioning into like the AAU stuff. It's totally two different beasts. You're there for some enjoyment, but for us, we were trying to transition into something greater than a lot of other probably kids were. That a lot of kids were doing it for fun, which is awesome, and it should be there and it should be available. But it's hard when you're trying to transition into something a lot bigger with your kid, and the expectation is not there, and you're trying to implement expectations in your household and what it should be, and you're dealing with something else.
It was, as far as like for Brendan, it was a good pace because you had to, it was hard to get him to take open shots. And so, or just shoot the ball in general, open or contested or be aggressive offensively. He would defer a lot. And so it was a good opportunity for him. And he was one of the smaller guys and stuff like that. For Carleigh, she was so far ahead, and it's easier for boys to be competitive than it is for girls to be competitive once you're that skilled and that elite. And so, although Northside has their whack rules about playing certain quarters, it was still very, very hard for Carleigh because she was so competitive. She would ask if she could go score, and the coaches would tell her, we would rather run the play and lose. Or they didn't know what to do with her at practice, and so she would have to sit out, and while all the other girls had to learn to dribble or shoot or learn the play. And so it got so miserable for her, she actually quit her 8th grade year in middle school because it wasn't productive or fun for her. And she was coming home more in tears more than she was actually enjoying the sport.
Put it this way, it was so bad that she quit and we moved her to a different school. Because the whole environment was not good.
Were there any struggles that Carleigh went through when transitioning from middle school basketball to playing up at finals?
I don't think there was a struggle. This is kind of probably backwards, but I don't think there was a struggle with her playing transitioning up into AAU with finance. The struggle was coming back to the middle school stuff because she couldn't separate the two. You can't, for her it's kind of like she couldn't play at a high level all the time and then go to the middle school stuff. She couldn't go down like that. And we didn't let her go down like that, but she didn't understand how to not play the way she plays for her. It was always the way finance was and the competitiveness and the nature of that. And so the struggle was going back to the middle school stuff and not
having high level players around her.
She couldn't fit into that environment. And so I think that's also what led to her not wanting to play and having to switch up, and do other stuff because it didn't work.
I know in middle school, Carleigh had like some opportunities that other people didn't. I know, didn't she get an offer in middle school?
She did, from Texas Tech, and she was excited. She was in tears because she was so excited to receive that offer. She really liked going to visit Tech. One of the struggles thinking about that offer, like in middle school, was that coaches like to come visit you in the fall, like when they're allowed. They'll come to high schools and visit with you, support you, show up for practices, build a relationship. One of the struggles in middle school was that Texas Tech wanted to come pass by through the middle school, but the middle school coaches weren't educated on the rules and didn't allow it, and didn't allow them to step foot into the school. And even though I expressed, like, you do realize, like, this motivates other, like, girls. We need girls in sports. This motivates them to see college coaches in the building. And so they thought it was against the rules, and it wasn't against the rules. And so sometimes in middle school, it's trying to educate the adults on what's allowed and what's not allowed because they have no idea, even though they're in the coaching world.
That still exists too. I think it still exists. I mean, it's crazy that people that don't know. It's crazy that people don't know stuff like that because it can help everyone. It's not about Carleigh at that point. Not to me. I mean, it's great that they wanted to come see her, but at that point, it's about all girls seeing coaches like that walk into a gym, I mean, it's good for Carleigh, but I mean, it's good for everyone. And everyone needs to be able to have those opportunities and see those things. And you got adults restricting that ability. That's crazy. But
so were y'all ever allowed in the stands in middle school games?
Yes. In all games. In all games, to remind them of, like, their skill level, or, like, remind them to be efficient, or remind them to finish, or the refs getting on them for allowing it to get too physical. And so, yeah. But also cheer loud too, like, just because you're a fan.
At what point did you feel rankings became important?
I don't think rankings are important. I think, well, I shouldn't say it like that maybe, but it depends on how you look at it. I think rankings are good because it opens opportunities up for you, possibly, to get opportunities to do things and travel maybe, or go to USA or things like that. But I think rankings are extremely detrimental to your success because it just marks you. I mean, there's tons of stories. There's probably more stories of kids that were ranked super high that struggled and failed than there are of the ones that were ranked super low that kept grinding and succeeded. It's detrimental to me. I don't think rankings do any good. And I think in Carleigh's situation, Carleigh was ranked pretty high. She was a top 50 kid. but it doesn't mean anything. It means nothing, because once you get there, it doesn't matter.
And I feel they are important at that time in your life, like self-accomplishment, like hard work, it's validated. And so I think it's an honor to be ranked.
Maybe the right rank.
Yeah. No, I think it's an honor, like, for those years in your life, like just like you just getting an award, like you accept it, but it doesn't stop you. Like whether you're ranked or not, like you're going to keep grinding it out. You still have a dream and a goal of what you want to achieve. And so, so I think it's important for like your own purpose at that moment, in that moment in time. But I think once you get beyond the rankings and into college, you'll see that they're not valued as much as they were the few years before. You see what I'm saying?
So maybe the rankings, I don't know. That's a loaded question, because it's super dependent also on you as an individual. Like, how do you handle a ranking? You know, like how would you handle a ranking versus how would someone else handle it? Can you handle a rankings? Can you deal with a high ranking? And can you as a kid deal with not being ranked and still grinding and still trying to achieve things that, or does a ranking make you feel like it's out of reach? Like it can go so many bad ways, in my opinion. It can go in so many bad ways versus positive ways. But I think the ranking is how you deal with it. I mean, is it important? I don't think it's important.
But the
recognition as a young kid to be ranked, it's probably good.
But it requires a lot of mental toughness on ranked kids. Like you have to be mentally tough. You have to be willing to cope with adversity. Like you have to be able to bounce back. So,
what do you think was the biggest hurdle in development?
Having us experience. I don't know that there was a hurdle in development. The hurdle was probably, I don't know. I don't know that there was a hurdle in development. There was probably more of the hurdle of being committed to it and having us holding you accountable to having to get up early, eat dinner in the car because you have to drive across town to work out. Those were the hurdles. You know, it wasn't, you know, as far as like an individual situation or a thing that they struggled with and getting better at or anything like that. It was the struggle of the commitment.
The consistency of it.
And that's where I said earlier, like, I try to make them quit because it's going to be so hard in the future. It's going to be so hard. So don't waste my time. If you want to do it, then we're going to do it. But at the same time, don't waste my time because I got to get up and go to work in the morning. I got to be an adult that you don't have to be yet. But I'm willing to sacrifice it just like you're going to sacrifice it, you know? And so, you know, I would try to push them to quit. You got a bad day, then just quit. I mean, it wasn't that simple, but that's the mentality that it's going to be because you're going to save me time. I can go to bed earlier. I have to work all day. Just quit. We can go home and pack it in. I'm sure you probably were told that a couple times. Maybe not in those direct terms, but the same idea behind it. Like, I'm going to commit to you and we're going to do it. And if this is what you want, then let's dive into it and let's go. And I'll stay all night and we'll get up early every morning. But at the end of the day, like if you think it's too hard, then yeah, let's not do it.
I know Carleigh got an offer in middle school, but were there any points in middle school for Brendan that you were like, yeah, he can play in college?
I don't know I don't know in middle school for him because he was so small. He was such a little dude. And not to say that little dudes can't do it, but when I say little, like he was tiny and he was skinny and it was hard. And he enjoyed playing. He enjoyed the game. So, it was like, well, let's keep going and try to get better. But I don't know that, there wasn't a point where it was like, oh, he's a next level athlete.
It took a lot to coach him and like encourage him to be aggressive and to shoot. He's always been a decent shooter, but it took a lot to get him to believe in himself.
If you could tell the parents of middle school athletes one thing, what would it be?
Don't rely on just the school. Like the school workouts are not enough. The level of coaching at the middle school is not enough for your kid to excel. Like there's got to be something else, and you have to find that circle of people that are going to help your kid get to the level that they want to play at, whatever level that is. If they want to go beyond high school, like it's got to be a year-round thing.
And I think, I still say the same thing I said in the middle school, like elementary school stuff, is commit to your kid, commit to the kid, spend time with your kid. Don't just. There's so many, and this isn't a knock on parents or a knock on really anything, because there's a lot of people who struggle with time and single moms, and like there's a lot of struggles, right, in being an adult and having kids. But you got to commit to it for your kid. You got to figure out a time and figure out a way. There's so many kids that just get dropped off and I'll be back. And they're not really committed to it. You're not committed, like be committed to your kid if this is what you choose to do. Like we're talking about this. If this is what you're choosing to do, commit to it.
And you want your eyes in there. Like what are they working on? Like what are the skills that they're working on that are going to translate to the game? If you don't, and not all parents know that, but if you're not in the gym, you don't even have a chance to see like what the kids are working on and what the expectation is, or if the coach even knows what they're doing. So you have to get your eyes on things. So yeah, invest in your kids, show up, be present.
Thank you for watching the journey. Stay tuned for the next episode where we talk about high school.